going on? Trip Kramer here from tripadvice.com. How do you pick a wife? How do you decide who is going to be the right fit for you? I feel like guys, they don't think about this enough. And guilty over here. I've been in a lot of relationships, or let's just say I've got into a lot of relationships where I'm not really thinking with my head on, okay? I'm thinking that, oh, this girl's really cute. She's really cool. Yeah, why not get into a relationship with a girl who's cute and cool? But you have to understand that that's not enough, especially with all the risk that happens when you do get married. Marriage can be a big risk. If you guys get divorced, it can ruin you financially. It can cause a lot of mental distress. We work with guys in our coaching program where they've just come out of a divorce. And I mean, I've heard every horror story in the book. And so they want to get back on their feet. They want to find someone where that's not going to happen. So you have to make sure that you prevent this by learning the correct way to find a partner, especially one that might be your wife one day. I believe if guys took this advice, we'd be able to bring the divorce rate down because they'd be picking someone that they're not just settling with and actually picking a great partner. Now, there's a whole other series of videos that we can chat about, well, how do you keep a relationship strong and how do you keep her loyal and keep a great relationship? But I want to give you just kind of like part one of this, right? Like, how do you pick it out? How do you at least start the process of finding someone who's going to be a good fit? And then you can take it from there. So let's dive into that today. Some guys need help with this, a little bit more custom, a little bit more hands-on. If you do, then you can go to tripadvicecoaching.com. The link is down below where you can work with us in a coaching program and figure out some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about today that applies more to you, which you'll know about I'm talking about in just a second. Let's dive in. First things first is you need to have 3 non-negotiables. Basically 3 qualities that you're looking for in a woman that you know are going to pass your personal tests, like someone you're going to want to hang out around, someone that it's going to work, right? So here's an example of a non-negotiable. If you are someone who happens to lean politically to the right or the left, you're probably going to want to find a woman who leans the same way as you, right? If that is something that's important to you. And so a lot of guys, you'd be surprised, well, maybe you wouldn't, a lot of guys, they might just throw that out the window because, well, she's cool and she's cute and so what, only to find down the line that this is going to be a problem. So think about some of the things that are important in your life. It could be your political leanings. It could be just your overall health outlook, right? So are you someone who's like really active? You're really into fitness, really into health? You're probably not going to want someone who maybe smokes a lot of weed or smokes weed all day, right? That's not going to work out. Another really important one is kids. Do you want kids? Do you not want kids? There have been relationships destroyed because that conversation wasn't had in the beginning. So all of a sudden you're a year in and you realize, oh, this woman really wants kids and I don't want kids. Now you're in trouble. It's not going to work out. So you got to think about that. That's one I actually really strongly think that you should be having and making sure you're finding out very soon when you're first dating somebody. Another one could be religion. If you're someone who is religious, maybe you're someone who goes to church every day, you go to synagogue every Friday, that might be someone that you want to pick that has that non-negotiable. Or maybe you don't. You don't want any religion involved in your relationship. Well, then you're going to want someone who doesn't have that. What are the things that are important to you? And I got to say this is very important because we coach guys here at TripAdvice and we do this exercise with them. And I get a lot of guys who bring up the same things. Like they want a girl who doesn't bring drama. They want a girl who really respects them and likes them. And they're picking those as those qualities, which of course, as someone who doesn't really know much about the non-negotiables, those are something that you're going to pick. Those are great qualities to have in a woman. But be careful here because those are default qualities. Of course, no matter who you pick, always they should have respect for you and like you and be loyal to you. Those are at default. So while those are default, I'd rather not pick those as your 3 non-negotiables. The 3 non-negotiables should be something that's a little bit more specific to you, the kind of lifestyle you want to live, and things of that sort. All right, which brings me into my next tip. So we gave you the 3 non-negotiables, so that's good. Now we got to look for some red flags, right? Because some of the things I mentioned earlier might be a red flag. If there's a woman that you're dating and she doesn't respect you or she brings a lot of drama in your life, it's like, all right, this is not a relationship that's going to work out and you're picking the wrong person. So you got to look out for some of those red flags. I'll give you a few examples right now. She shouldn't be someone who drinks a lot, who does a lot of drugs, or heavily emphasizes partying in her life. And I get it. There's going to be women who are going to be in their early 20s who might do that, and that's a normal time to be doing that. Well, this is a risk that you're going to have to take. Some of those women get over that phase. Some women don't. I don't think that's a risk you should take because people are going to have any sort of addiction issues or just like to party a lot. Generally are not going to be a good partner or a long-term partner as a wife. Someone who's really unorganized, right? So a woman who you meet who just, her life just seems like a little bit of a mess. Maybe she has a lot of drama with her friends, or she just kind of doesn't know what she's doing with her life, or maybe you even see it like you go to her place is kind of a mess. Just, you can tell that her life is in disarray. This is no good, right? It might seem like, oh, it's cute. I don't know. This girl is just kind of like going with the flow, but it's not going to be a good quality that you're going to want in a partner for the long term. And again, I don't like anyone using the excuse of, well, she's a little bit younger, so of course things are a little bit messy. I will show you a million other women who are young and have their life together. So let's never use age as any sort of excuse. Really just trying to find the right person and the right partner for you. Which leads me to my next one. Any kind of issues, like I said, with friends, that's going to be a problem because I wonder what she's doing that's causing issues with friends. I also want to know what her relationship is like with her parents, with her mom, and especially her dad. You might have heard the term daddy issues before. This is really important. Why is it so important, her relationship with her father? Because this is the relationship with her and another male, another man. So if she's having issues with that, it has been shown that when women have psychological damage or daddy issues, they will bring that into the relationship. Not to get too heavy into psychological matter, but one of the things that we do is we tend to play out our pasts. And we tend to play out some of our psychological traumas into the relationships that we have, our romantic relationships, sometimes even our friendships. So that means that if she has any kind of the psychological issues, that's going to be a problem, which leads me to my next one. If she is on heavy medication, if she is super depressed, super anxious, and on a lot of meds and just hasn't really been able to figure that part of her life out and seemingly has to rely on medication, or maybe even does medication, but it's not even really working that well, or she's still testing things out, she is not viable to be in a relationship with you. She does not have herself figured out, which kind of brings me to the overall picture here of the red flags. If she doesn't have her life sorted, figured out, if it's not in a direction that's going up and forward in growth, it's just not going to be someone who's going to be ready to be in a partnership with you. And don't be Captain Save-A-Ho. That term means you're trying to save her. You're trying to fix her. You're trying to help her. You're trying to guide her out of this crazy, messy world and save her. That's a problem, because just because you save her, that doesn't mean those problems are going to go away. And again, they can show up in your relationship and it could be terrible. Next, here's some more practical advice. If you want to know, well, how do I know if she passes the non-negotiables? How do I know if she has any of these red flags? Well, non-negotiables, that's something you can figure out pretty quick. You'll know pretty fast if she's a woman who is religious or leans one side politically or is physically active or whatever it is that you're looking for. That can be figured out in 2 to 3 dates. Some of the other stuff you might not know, that might not come out so soon. So you want to make sure that A, you're not living with her and getting into a roommate situation for anything less than a year. So wait a full year until you guys actually live together. This is enough time to get a sense of who she is. And then B, you do want to move in with her. So eventually, not too far away, so sometime after the year mark that you guys have been dating, move in together. And do not ever get married to a woman, with no exceptions, ever get married to a woman who you have not lived with first. It's a very old school thing, and it's turned out for many people to be a disaster, because you have to know who she is as a person when you guys are putting your lives together and combining your lives together. And the best way to know that is when you're living together. So yes, it is playing house. So the idea here is you don't want to play house too soon, but eventually you do, and you have to do that before you get married to make sure that she is the right partner, because you're going to be spending your lives, you're going to be putting your lives together, combining lives, and then you're going to see how life is going to play out. The only difference between living together and getting married is a ring on both of your fingers and a big party that you guys once had. Because once you get married, it's still back to that place, which is good. That means that you can have this tested out, and you want to test that out to make sure that you see all the different issues. You spend all this time with her, living with her, you're going to see how she acts in a partnership, how she treats you on a daily basis, how the relationship is playing out. So make sure that you're doing that. Again, no sooner than a year, and definitely after a year before you guys get married. Again, we work with guys on this in the coaching program that I have, my TripAdvice Accelerator coaching program. You can learn more about that at tripadvicecoaching.com. We take guys, we guide them through figuring out what are your non-negotiables, diving more into red flags, working with guys to figure out what's going to be the best suited person for them. And of course, how to meet a lot of women to be able to find your wife, which leads me to my last point. In order to pick the right person who's going to be a partner for you, with you for the long term, is going to be getting a lot of volume. Guys will just meet a few women and she sort of passes the test, or maybe they think she does because she's cute and cool, and then finding out that because they just settled, it wasn't a good fit. So what is the antidote to settling? Volume. Going on lots of dates, meeting lots of women, in person, online, whatever you got to do. The more volume, the more opportunity you'll be able to find someone who passes your non-negotiables, passes the red flags, and is someone who's going to be a good partner for you in the long run. So with enough volume, you'll be able to find that person and make it work. Hope that helps. Press subscribe and hit that like button if it is something that helps you and you want to learn more. And I'll see you on the next video.